week 8, Wednesday. I'm back on it. I'm still a little bit behind because today is February 2nd. It is Sunday, the end of week 8. So I got Saturday still to do. That'll be the next episode. But for right now, we got week 8, Wednesday. A lot of duels throughout the state. So let's get right to it. Excuse me, a little tired, a little still fighting a little bit of a bug. So bear with, I'll be coughing a little bit. All right, let's go. Kingswood. So these matches they actually took place on Monday, the 27th. I don't know if it was makeup or they're feeling real energetic at the end of the season, but they had a busy week, did Kingswood. They took on let's see, Merrimack was first up. They get the win over Merrimack 30, or actually they get the loss from Merrimack 42-31. Um they get wins. Merrimack gets wins from Owen Sabal, Landon Schultz, Kale McClune, Amir Safa, Cooper Wilps, and only saw one Sabal in the mix on this night, so I'm not sure if it's just a night off or not, but no Connor. Kingswood, they saw Royce Morin over Avery Berardinelli from Merrimack, a decision for 7-3. Isaac Gagnon over Braden Callan, and Reese Fisher over Justin Foss, both by pin. My man Caleb Forgy had a major decision over Carter Anderson, 14-0, just missing the tech fall. And the big men, Kingsley Owens at 190 and Stephen Lawrence at 285, both picked up falls. You take out the two forfeits by Kingswood and you have an even better matchup. So good work for both squads. Kingswood moved on to take on Manchester West. So again, it looked like a try meet for this Monday uh, get down. And good one there for Kingswood and West, 34-33. Kingswood takes the win. It was a back and forth affair, only one forfeit, only giving up one forfeit this match. Um, you know, there was a double forfeit. That's pretty good, right? So good solid duel there. Again, Kingswood 34, Manchester West 33. And then what do we got after that? We had Manchester West. They took on Merrimack. A little better showing for the Blue Knights here. They beat Merrimack 53-16. Owen Sabal, he gets the second of the day with a win over Samuel Cruz 10-3 decision. Landon Schultz over Jadian. I like that. Suero, got a pin there. Carter Anderson got a 15-11 decision over Anthony D. Gaetano. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I almost try to mispronounce that, but I'm going to say D. Gaetano. Anthony D. Gaetano. I'm going to work these out with you guys. Avery Lantane, Merrimack over Gabriel Guzman, Manchester West, major decision, 14-4. Those were the 16 tomahawk points. West had wins from Angel Diaz, Kendrick Nunez, Astor Sunson, Justani Rivera, Ryan Perkins, Jaden Nardi, and John Malonis, all by pins. And from the looks of it, none of them made it to the second period. So um, I'm not sure. You see that 34-33 score from the Kingswood Manchester West match, and then the 53-16 match here, and then the 42-31 Merrimack beats Kingswood, right? So in those dual meets, matchups matter, and it just looked like West had Merrimack's number there. So great job, good try meet for everybody. And here's the cool thing, right? I mentioned Kingswood had a busy week. Well, it wasn't because they had a try meet was because they also had a dual meet on Wednesday. Again, we're in week 8, Wednesday recap here. And so, again, I don't know if that 27th set of matches, that try meet was a makeup or anything, but sure does make for a long week when you got to weigh in again on Wednesday and get after it. And so, Winnacunnet, they took on Kingswood and, again, returning 2 days after a try meet. It simply looks like they just kind of ran out of gas. Winnacunnet had pins from Sean Tallis, Ryder Thurlow, Anthony Novas. I'm sorry. Reed Campbell, Dominic Young, and a major decision from Ethan Gam over Royce Morin of Kingswood. That's an 11-2 major there. Kingswood wins included Caleb Forgy over Connor Campbell for 7-1. Good one there. Zach Nuzililo. Kingswood over Liam Peters. Got the pin there. Yeah, again, look, busy week for Kingswood. They are definitely grinding here at the end of the season, and I like what I see out of them. I think I speak for all of us when I say I'd love to see them have a few more coaches at the tournaments. Coach Kelly, he's running all over the place there, and I'm sure he could use some support. So if you're in the Kingswood area, know a little something about wrestling or willing to learn, go talk to Coach Kelly. I'm sure he could use the help. All right, so Kingswood, they're gonna be like I'm on time here. Kingswood did head to a quad this past Saturday, which I will recap on the week 8 Saturday episode. So after a whole bunch of wrestling this week, we'll see how they did in that very long marathon kind of week. So good job there, man. A lot of wrestling for Kingswood, Merrimack, and Manchester West getting some action there. I looked up at the Lebanon tri meet. Only one score there. Kearsarge over Lebanon, 42-36. Sixes across the board here, either by pin or forfeit, of which there were 5. Good win for Kearsarge. That's all we can really say there. Raymond, 41. Franklin, 0. They got wins, look, from Brody Moore. He gets a tech fall over Daniel Blodgett. 165 pounds saw Joseph Martinez over Aram Trumbull with a pin. Also pins came from Elder Bejic over Cameron Lebrec and Christian Lavalier over Lucas Houghton. And it's a good win for the Rams under the first-year head coach. Bedford, they hosted Wyndham, beat them up 48-34. Look, they're beating up an already wounded Jaguars squad. And after trailing 20-12 after 7 matches in this duel, they pick up wins. Or Wyndham picks up wins from Jason Ciano, Jacob Hoyt, Harry Palmer, Liam McGrail. Those were all pins. And then Bedford, forfeit and Jacksonella, or excuse me, they got a forfeit, and then Jacksonella over Alex Weck got a pin there. Let's see. Bedford edges the Jaguars in the closing 7 matches, 22-18. So a bit different there. Tucker Watson, Calvin Bradley, they both picked up pins. And the thing, Sam Cowett, he bumps to 215, and Gavin McConnell to 285, both with pins of their own. Add 12 for forfeits and Bedford too much for Wyndham, and they top them 48-34. Both headed to the Cap City Classic this past weekend, so we'll see how they did up there in the capital city. All right, White Mountains took on Conval on a Wednesday. A little bit of snow on a Wednesday, right? And in what I hear was one of the most well officiated matches of the week. It included yours truly. So 4 hours of driving, 1 hour of wrestling. As I headed to the Great White North Mount, or the North Great White Mountains. I waited 500 yards from the school for about, I don't know, 25 minutes because a couple cars went off the road. To some, that might not be a good time, but to me, I had a blast. I don't mind driving. And these 2 programs stuffed with quality human beings, good coaches, very respectful, tough wrestlers. Listen, these are not club kids that go year round, right? So the level of wrestling might be different, but the level of toughness is there, and the level of respect and sportsmanship, I love it. And so the night started off under the light with team introductions and a very good rendition of our national anthem by a very talented young lady. Check out my Instagram, Ben's Den, which I hate plugging because I hate social media. However, I got to give it to her. Sang it like an angel. So good job there. It's a great way to start the night and set the tone. But the wrestling edge, it went to the White Mountains team as they lost 3 and took the rest, including pins from Lance Liebens, Logan Sampson, Chase Bishop, Alden Wiley, Connor Perry, and Cameron Whitcomb. And then and Bailey Phillips. Connor Whitcomb, he was slacking. He only got a tech fall over Eric Bergeron, 24-8. Conval wins came from Oliver Smith Coyne. He beats Easton Bowen, major decision 9-0. Luis Torres, he takes over Blake Sear, 8-4 decision. That was a great match. And then Jonathan Henley over Corbin Ketty of the White Mountains via pin. So, listen, I told you, a little bit of driving, some good wrestling, good people. Had a great time. White Mountains 47-19. They take out Conval. And again, I like what both programs are doing. I got a chance to talk to Coach Alex, who's the Conval coach, and I like where his headspace is at, and these types of programs, right? I'll tell you what, I was driving up to the White Mountains duel, and the only thing that I could think about while I was driving, I should be thinking about the match and making sure I got all my rules in my head and prepping. But I'm driving up there, and it is gorgeous, man. The trees are covered in snow. And I just kept thinking, man, I haven't been snowboarding in years. I'd love to go out and snowboard. And, you know, it's got to be tough to recruit when you live 20 minutes from a ski mountain and you could just, like you're going to the grocery store, get on the mountain, run it 4 or 5 times, and then go home, do your homework. So I understand the challenges of recruiting in a place like that. Conval, while not so north, they're a little west and north, but they also have access. So, small town pools, but no shortage of quality kids. So, had a blast. All right, moving along. Timberlane Regional. They took on Nashville South and smashed them. First half, Timbo completely dominates 34-3 over the Purple Panthers. Big thing here is the ability for the Owls to continue to avoid pins, as all 3 losses that they suffered were a decision and 2 major decisions, including Benjamin Byrne of Nashville South over Cole Seuss, 8-0. The ability to avoid being pinned is often directly related to your ability to fight for your life, because that's really what you're doing. So if you're gonna lay down on the mat, and listen, man, when things are really real, but then you're gonna learn how to fight. Like, I encourage all wrestlers here in New Hampshire, stand for back. But more importantly, stop getting pinned. All right, moving along. Souhegan, they got to try. They took on Manchester West, beat them 45-25. West put up a good fight with wins from Angel Diaz, Christian Cruz Velez. You had Colin Taylor over Cole Brandt with an 8-6 decision, and Justani Rivera over Marcus Stout with a pin. About the early in the third. Sabres, they had 5 pins and 4 tech falls to topple the Blue Knights with consistency and power. Souhegan then took on the Hollis Brookline Cavaliers. Looks like 2 forfeits, the real difference here, and the match pretty evenly contested all the way through, as both squads led by some great coaches, right? You have Coach Tromby at Souhegan, always has his team ready, as does Coach Bumpus at Hollis Brookline. And after giving up a forfeit to start, Hollis Brookline's Vic Loam and Scout Cree, they both pick up pins. And then Souhegan bested that with 3 straight, one from Frosty Jack Kaler, one from Landon Carson and Ben Smiley. And as they pick up pins, the Cavaliers captain, Caden Brousseau, he stops the bleeding with one of his own. Score 24-18 Souhegan at the halfway point. Then you got Cole Brandt. He comes out and he pins Enzo Kolar of Hollis Brookline. You got Chase Baby Knuckles, probably had a bloody nose while he did it, but he gets a win over Isaac Burns by a pin. That makes the score 36-18, the Sabres. Jacob Critchfield, an animal, right? He gets a win over Sam Albert, a tech fall to make it 36-23. Still Souhegan. A pin here gives Hollis Brookline 6 rather than 5. Just take note of that. Teammates Martin Burns and Daniel Halas both picked up pins to make the score 36-35 with 2 matches to go. Pretty tight match, right? Both were forfeits, and they split each one, right? Cavs get one and Souhegan gets one. Makes the final score 42-41. Great match. And again, I want to give a shout out to a kid like Sam Albert of Souhegan for staving off an animal like Critchfield and only giving up the tech. Could have been a criteria win for either team in the situation if Critchfield gets that pin, puts one more on the board, makes it 42-42. Whoo! So great match. Both teams, they had the Concord. And again, more on that on the next episode. But man, more dual meets like that, please. All right, Salem. Well, not much to say here. I got to tell you, the Blue Devils, they smashed the Titans of the North. And the Titans, they only had Caden, Valoran, Keneally, otherwise known as KVK. Uh, he gets them some team points. KVK puts it on Matt Pucci of Salem with a tech fall, 18-2. Uses almost the whole match, about 19 seconds left, but gets it done, puts 5 on the board for the Titans, and that's it. All pins and 1 tech fall for Salem after that. North went to Cap Classic. Salem was down in Methuen, so we'll see how those teams both did. Great smashing there for the Blue Devils. All right, Plymouth double duel. All right, so Plymouth, they took on Messina. Smashed them 68-12. Messina gets 2 pins from Chase Sassner and William Austin, and all Bobcats after that. A whole bunch of forfeit points as well, as got some wrestling wins from, let's see, we got Jaden Payne, Dominic Ciotti, Grant Wenhart, and Hussein Osarian. That's decision, tech fall, 2 pins in that order. No shootout for the sheriff, Edmund Nosman. He simply gets his hand raised as one of the forfeits. So then they moved on. They took on Winnisquam, a little tighter match here, 38-33. The Bobcats edge out the Bears. Again, much more competitive. And you saw 106-pounder Jaden Payne gets it going for Plymouth with a pin over Kane St. Hilaire, Winnisquam. The Bears get it back at 113 with Gage Busky Reed over Casey Petronero via pin. 120 had Phipps over Ryan Cormier, and I'm sure was a scrappy match. 126 saw Carl Edwardson and Winnisquam over Gabe Sargent, 7-4. And then you got at 132, Dylan Griffin of Winnisquam over Cody Sawyer, 4-1. Amon Gauthier, 138-pound bear. He's over Sebastian Sargent at a pinfall there. Jamison Dunn from Winnisquam Regional over Aiden Patridge from Plymouth, 9-6 there at 144 pounds. And that was just the first half of the duel where Winnisquam led 29-9 after 7 matches. Second half saw 3 straight from Plymouth. Jackson Rainier picking up a tech fall. Ciotti and Grant Wenhart picking pins up. And the lead goes to Plymouth 26-21. They split the last 4 matches all by pins. David Jean and Louis Soik for the Bears, and Nossaman and Osarian for the Bobcats, giving Plymouth the 38-33 win. So another great duel. You know, we just talked about Souhegan and Hollis Brookline. Well, this Plymouth and Winnisquam one right up there with it. Again, more duels like this, a lot of competition, you know, head to head, people staying off their backs, decisions and things like that. I love it. All right. Whew, making progress. All righty. We got Portsmouth and Merrimack. The Clippers, they dominate the Tomahawks, more so than the score would indicate. Once your forfeits are removed, Tomahawk wins come from 175-pounder Carter Anderson. He gets a win over Emmanuel or Manu Puban of Portsmouth. Gets a pin there. Owen Sabal over Logan Chase via tech fall at 126 pounds, 17-2. Takes him out in the third period. Secret Squirrel Carter Kuhn does his thing with a pin, and a big win for Andrew A.J. Craig, Portsmouth's redheaded stud, over Connor Sabal, gets a pin. Freshman stud Stephen Whistler, he takes out K.O. McClune via first period pin. Mikey Shortle, he takes out Justin Foss with a tech fall, and then we get a couple of pins from Alex Sikora and Zach LaValle, and also Michael Sherburne. So Clippers handling some business. You know, I got to tell you, Carter Kuhn looks great. The Merrimack JV team, we got some matches in there, and so they dominated Portsmouth. Won all 4 matches via pin. So congratulations to Charlene Haddad, Brandon Gendron, Landon Schultz, and Leland Eaton. All baby Tomahawks trying to crack that varsity squad, and you know, part of that process is just kicking some butt down there on the JV level. So congratulations down there. Let's see, Exeter and Londonderry, not very close. Exeter 50, Londonderry 20. First half was close and fair, you know. Exeter edging Londonderry 18-17, thinking, woohoo, things are gonna go well. Well, nope, not so well for the Lancers. Second half, all Exeter pitching a shutout, 34-0 over Londonderry. Panto and Perez, they secure a tech fall and a major decision, respectively. Come on, boys, get those pins. And congratulations to the Exeter boys for staying off your backs. Exeter, they headed to Conval to close out week 7, right? No, week 8 Wednesday. Closing out week 8 in Conval. Londonderry heads out of state. They go to Methuen. Ah, it's been a long weekend. A lot of note taking and recording, I tell you. All right. Coach Chavanel sent me a few notes, and I pulled a few out of the track wrestling machine. But I guess he must have liked this one because he found me with some scores, and I got 61-17. They beat Division III rival John Stark. Again, John Stark, very young this year, but well coached and always going to be tough and scrappy. So we start with a 144 pounder. Herbie the Love Bug Madden takes out Hunter Griffin 15-9. Ryan Dolder over Brennan Champagne. And, I might say it, Coach Chavanel might say it. I don't know. Is Ryan tougher than Jared? I'm the youngest of three brothers, and I got to tell you, I'm the toughest. 190 pounds. Chase Flag over Maurice Butler with a pin. Uh, I don't talk about forfeits often, but at 215, Alex Dakota, he got a forfeit. Unfortunately, Jackson Hall was out sick, so you didn't see that matchup happen. Possibly happening at the Capital City Classic, which you'll hear about the week 8 Saturday recap. Blah. All right, Kevin Mullen at 285. He takes out Jason Young at Stark. 113 pounds. You see the generals get on the board. Sean Crean over Jaron Tedisco Coulon, 19-3. And to quote Coach Chavanel, holy Sean Crean, that kid is nasty. And I agree, man. He's just gonna keep getting better. He reminds me again like a Carter Cone. Not a kid who came out of the womb with headgear and shoes on. He picked it up and just has excelled. So good win for Sean there. 120 saw Sean Flaherty get it back for Bo over Jackson Benedict with a pin. 126, another little stud, Lincoln Jablonski. He picks up a win over Josh Ruse via fall. And you got to say, and I agree with Coach Chavanel, Division III 126, shaping up to be a very fun weight class. Shane Rables, Bo, over Forrest Haker of John Stark via pin. And again, you know, Hall's out sick. I don't know that that has a huge impact on the score. I think this year Bo is probably the stronger team, as evidenced by the final result. However, that Dakota Hall match very much interests me, and I can't wait to look through the brackets to see if they smashed and locked horns at that Capital City Classic. So we'll see. All right, water break. Here we go. All right, we're down to 4 more. So before we can do the Capital City Classic, we got to talk about their match that they had on week 8 Wednesday, and they took on the Keene Blackbirds. The Tide continue to show the strength and growth as they take another D1 foe in Keene. Keene wins. They included Tristan Woodbury over Carter Buxton via pin at 106, and Evan Ray over Wayne Sakakini via pin at 285. Couple other, I think it was some forfeits and all that stuff, but that's it. Usual suspects for the Tide getting wins, though I do note a tough Leo Runez. He gave the mayor of Cradle City, Jackson Carter, a tough match. He went the distance going 7-5, lost there for Runez. Good win for Jackson Carter, and a good tough match to have in the middle of a nice duel. Again, Concord, they were hosting and Keene were visiting at the Cap Classic this past Saturday, so we could talk about some of their individual and team finishes there. Moving along, Coach Rittinger again sent some good stuff over to me for Pelham. They took on Campbell 47-36, get a win there. 7 forfeits between the two squads. Pelham gets the big edge. Wrestling wins included the Queen, Liz Donovan, at 126 pounds. She beats up Logan Gill in 36 with a 36-second pin. At 190, Billy Nichols, he got a tech fall over Jaden Usello, 19-4. And Mr. Zanoni, Victor, at 285 pounds, won by a pin over Landon Richardson at 104 of the first period. Campbell wins included Samuel Baker. He took out Matt Raymond via fall. You have Timothy Tarecki over Tegan DeRoja. Sage Engel got a pin over Caitlin Zanoni. And the return of the Mac. Logan Allaire at 175 pounds takes out Joel Libre via fall in the second period. So More on Mr. Allaire probably in the Week 8 Saturday recap as he made his tournament debut at the Capital City Classic. So we'll talk about his progress. I got a quick second to chat with him. I didn't want to bother him. He was warming up for his match, and I do my best to stay away from wrestlers when they're getting ready, even though all I wanted to do was walk over and have a long conversation with him and ask him a bunch of questions, which he probably doesn't want to answer. So I try to respect his personal space the best I can, but before the season's over, I'm going to chew that kid's ear off for a little bit because I do have some questions about the journey because I love it. It's never the destination; it's always about the journey. So, welcome back, Mr. Allaire. It's great to have you. And as I probably mentioned before, all you other suckers better be ready. Back to the team aspect. Look, ugly win for Pelham, but as Coach Redinger knows, a win is a win. His quote, we need to get back in the room and tweak a few things. And that's exactly right. This time of the year, you're not gonna learn a new series. You gotta tighten up what you already have and eliminate the mistakes. And Coach Redinger, he always has Pelham ready and tough coming into the postseason. So they hosted a quad meet this past Saturday with Bishop Guertin, Manchester Memorial, and Manchester Central. So we'll chat on that in the Week 8 recap for Saturday. Let's talk Milford and Alvern. 54-28, Milford puts it on Alvern. Milford looking really good lately. Tough. That being said, hey, listen, like I say, 4 forfeits in favor of Milford. So that helps, right? Wrestling winners for Milford included all via pin Kiki Lord and Cam Stickney, Tanner Herbert, Jace Wilhelmi, and Noah Kittredge. And the Broncos come, this is what you come to expect, right? The very top and the very bottom of the lineups are very strong for the Broncos, right? So you had Mr. GQ, you got Shane Mackey, he beats up on Jack Clancy, he gets a pin there. Quentin Tetral over Nathan Post gets a pin there. 215, stud Bronco Sean Boudreaux, he picks up a major decision over a tough Elijah Wales. 285, that saw Andrew Vertigans over Brandon Lehman, got a pin there. Kyler Cox swinging around to the bottom, top of the lineup, depending on how you're looking at it. But to me, it's the top 106. Kyler Cox picks up a pin over Braden Butler. And you start to see that pattern, right? They're going to be tough in the postseason. I really believe that these Alvern kids that we're talking about at the top and the bottom, they're gonna do some spoiling, if we will, in the postseason. So tough loss here to the Milford Spartans, who again are looking very tough this time of the year. And Coach Voucher's going to have them ready to rock come D2. So everybody be ready. And last but not least, we head to G-Town, and they hosted Bishop Guertin. First half saw Goffstown get off to a commanding 29-4 lead over Bishop Guertin. BG first half wins Austin Steinrich over Hunter Sheldon, 16-4 major decision there. After that, it was Jack Foster over a tough Stephen Damboyce, 8-5. And B squared, Bishop Kearns from Bishop Guertin over Christopher Finnegan by a fall. Good stud wrestling there from them guys. But then G-Town's Ben Walton had a real tough, good match with James Aljo. He edged the Cardinal 4-2. I suspect takedown reversal escape, but what do I know? Also, Sullivan Conley, another dominant win for him over Kobe Spinney. Gets a tech fall 18-1, and things really looking smooth in the neutral position for Sully. So keep the good work going, my man. G-Town to Cap City this past weekend for one more big tourney. They got a couple of big dual meets coming up, and BG head to Pelham. So that is Week 8 Wednesday. I got some notes in place for Week 8 Saturday. I got some more work to do there, but I got to tell you, this time of the year, right? Starting to see some tighter duels. Things, the forfeits, they are what they are, right? You can't just make people show up. But the ones where there's wrestling happening, it is some tough wrestling, and I'm still gonna complain and bitch about all the pins because we get to do better as a state with that. But nonetheless, I'm also gonna highlight what are some great matches. And when you look at the Sauhegan Hollis Brookline match, you look at this where was that other one? It's another good one. I forget which one it was off the top of my head, but a couple of good dual meets that are happening this past week. Week eight is over, by the way. I know this is the week eight Wednesday. I'll do the week eight Saturday, but in reality, this is it, right? So we're cruising through the season. I'll touch a little bit more on that in the next episode when we talk about Capital City Classic and the remaining it seemed like most of the state was there, right? But there was some sprinkled quads here and there. And again, a couple of teams head out of state. So we'll see how everybody did. I'll check the brackets. We'll get back to it. And I can't believe it. I was just saying to my wife, I can't believe how far we are in the season and exactly how much more we get to go. And then postseason, baby. So I hope everybody had an amazing week. Again, apologize for being a little bit behind, and I look to get back on pace. I will try to get Saturday's episode done here probably tomorrow, and then get ready for Wednesday. So, to all, have a wonderful day, night, whenever it is you see this, and we'll see you on the mats.